Okay, we're going to cover what we covered in session 5. We're just going to do a little video recording of the work on screen just to give you something to go back on. We covered quite a lot in that session, moving from SketchUp to Rhino. So a little video of it might be helpful whenever you're trying to recreate some of the things that we did. Okay, so I'm going to start off in SketchUp. Now, I'm going to concentrate on this object here. I'm going to take this object into Rhinoceros and section it. The first thing that I've done, you'll see I've got a file named object, and I've deleted absolutely everything else from it apart from this. And that's because this is the only object I want to work with. Alright, so I'm going to File, I'm going to go to Save As, and importantly, I've got some experience on this, I'm going to save this as SketchUp version 7. This very latest version of SketchUp isn't compatible with Rhinoceros, so I save it as version 7. Name object, save, and yes, I want to replace it. Okay, so that's that done. Let us move into Rhinoceros. Let's get rid of all of that. And I'm going to go to File, Import, Object, Open. And if we remember from session 5, we import as trimmed planes. This gives us the most chance of success with our import. Okay. And we'll give it a moment, and there we go. Now look, 2 objects, so there's another. Oh yes, the terrain. I must have had the terrain on a hidden layer, which is why it came in as well. So let me select it, press delete. Here's another object, let's delete that. And all we're interested in is just this object, which we're going to section. In order to section it, I need some section plane, so I'm going up to that sort of wonky square, hold it down, and I select the rectangle with 2 dots on opposite corners. And I'm going to section this in this plane here, so let me zoom in, and let me do that again, select that, and draw a rectangle around it. I'm going to move it just a little bit closer, click and drag over here in the right window, moving it a little bit closer to my object, and then creating an array, so clicking and holding the rectangular array, moving over to the linear array, selecting it, select the object, there we go, press enter when done. It's prompting me up here, great prompts up here to help you along. The number of items is set to 20 already, so I'll just press enter again. And my first reference point, I'm now over in the right window, and I'll just click there, and I'm going to hold down, see it was a bit askew all over the place, if I hold down the shift key it will lock it for me, and let's just say there, how about that, that's fine. And then we do our intersect. Remember from yesterday, start typing the word intersect up here. We get our intersect command. I'll select all these objects, press enter, and I've got my intersections, which I'll just drag off to the side a little bit. And there they are. We can see them up in that perspective window. Some great intersections. All right, so fairly simple, but that's what we're doing. Okay, now I'm going to draw a rectangle. Approximately the proportions of an A3 page, just to help me lay this out. Jihai did a great job yesterday, so I'm just going to shamelessly copy what she did, because she did it so well, and just start selecting in the top window and moving down here. This just makes sure that I get all the objects that are in that section. Sometimes we can have, there we go, we have multiple objects in the section, you see, and this is just ensuring that we get all the pieces that are in that section. And there we go. Now I'm not going to put all of them in, for we're time constraint here a little. I'm just going to put those in, but I'm laying them from left to right, and then I would, whenever I'm finished going from left to right, I'd go off down here and I'd start again on another row going left to right. And what that means is whenever it's cut, I will be able to piece all those together, knowing that this piece sticks to this piece, sticks to this piece, sticks to this piece, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we've got the basis of our layout there. There are a couple of lines missing. Okay, and we want to do something about that. So what I'm going to do is, you see, I'm going to put my mouse down to the bottom, and we have a O snap selection button here. I'm going to click that, which turns these things on. And I'm going to make sure that this box is ticked to the endpoint object snap. What that will let me do is select our polyline, and if I go down here, it will automatically snap to the end point of that line and connect to the end point of that one. And press the space bar just to stop it. press the spacebar to start again. Again, endpoint. It's automatically locking to the end point of that line because I've turned that on in our OSnap, which stands for OrthoSnap. And there we go. Alright, so that is the basis of our cutting template that we're going to use to get cut out. Let's select what we want. I'm going to just create a rectangle around that, select those objects, File, Export Selected. I'm going to type 4 cutting. No dollar cutting. Let's go. Oh, there's a 4 cutting there. All right, let's go 5 cutting. Let's say 5 cutting. Save. Snapshot RGB. Okay. Let's just minimize that. And there's our 5 cutting file. So let's open up our 5 cutting file. And there it is. First thing we're going to do is make sure that we're working on an A3 template here in Illustrator. So we'll go to File, Document Setup, Edit Artboard, and if I go up to the presets, I can change this to A3. I can also change it to something bigger if I want, and I can put in something custom as well to give me an even bigger size, but we're just going to start with A3 and landscape. Okay, so there it is. There are our objects that we put onto it. What I can do is select them. I'm going to move them over here, and I'm going to get the cursor looking like that, looking like 2 arrows pointing in the diagonal. Click, hold down the Shift key. This will hold my proportion, and I can scale these things out pretty much to fit the A3 page. The outline was for my benefit. I don't need it anymore, so I can click on it and press delete and get rid of the outline, leaving me the objects that I want to get cut. If you remember from yesterday, there are a few things that need to be done that Jihai was very good at showing us. First of all, I'm going to press Control and the letter A, which will select everything on my screen. We need to change the color. Here it's black, so I'm going to double click on this black square, which brings up this window, and it needs to be perfectly blue, which means R0, G0, B255. Enter, and that gives us everything perfectly blue. I'm going to select it all again, and we need to change the thickness of our stroke to 0.01, and I'm just typing that in. Enter. And you'll see when we deselect it, all looks very, very slim now. And if we go to File and Save, oh no, we'll not do that, we'll go Cancel, we'll go File, Save As. If we remember again from Jihai's advice, you want to be saving it as a previous version. So we'll try, well, let's just try Save again. 5 cutting converted, Adobe Illustrator, Save, and now we get these options. We want to change it from Illustrator CC to version CS6. And you can see that's all we changed. Okay. Okay. And that's it. If we now go back onto our screen, we have 5 cutting converted, which is a file that's ready to be passed down on a USB stick to the people in the laser cutter, where they can cut that out of your piece of card. Important, we need to change it to your UPI, whatever that might be, and your material, 2mm brown card. And that means that they will be able to link you to your material and this file to both you and your material as well. And that's us. Good luck.